game.
It's going to be a good Stars TV episode.
The way it works with the lottery is it's split into two groups. So pick 1 to 4 is selected first, and that's based on where you finished in the ladder last year. WBBL, we received pick 4, which, to be honest, is the worst pick we could have got.
Melbourne Stars.
Ideally, that's where you want to be, but it's interesting. The challenge with being pick 1 is you don't really have any visibility, obviously, of what's coming further down the line. So you've got to prepare for the fact that some clubs may have retention picks that they'll use. And so in some respects, probably pick 2 gives you a better look at obviously what's in front and what's behind. But look, ultimately it means that we get first look at the best players in the pool.
We're going to have a look at Rashid Khan again.
If Rashid Khan is in the pool, we will call his name out again.
Nice.
Just to make it 3 years in a row. When Cricket Australia announced that we could make a pre-selection before the draft, we knew straight away we wanted to capitalise on that. Obviously, it gives you some control over who you can bring into your squad well ahead of the September draft. And for us, we just went straight to the list need that we had. We worked with our analysts, we worked with the coaches to get sort of a really clear picture of the type of player we wanted. Once it became evident that we needed someone who was going to give us, something at the back of the bowling innings and also hopefully something with the bat, Tom Curran's name was one of the probably 4 or 5 that we came up with pretty quickly.
I'm super excited. It's what did I spend a fair few years at the Sixers, so arch rivals, I guess. But two of the bigger franchises, and if there was one other team that I ever wanted to be a part of, would have definitely been the Stars. So had some great battles over the years, really looking forward to getting out to Aussie in a few months and playing at the MCG, what will be a great honour to call my home ground.
We did the work from a list point of view, identified where we think we might need to strengthen the squad. You can't go past Marizanne Kapp on any of the metrics that we looked at. So same process, reached out to her management. We were probably fortunate that Jonathan Battier, head coach, has a relationship with Marizanne because of coaching her in the 100 previously and is coaching her in the 100 this year. And obviously Meg's played with her over there. So we sort of leveraged that a little bit, and we were again delighted to get her locked away for 3 years because I think every Big Bash club would like to have Marizanne Kapp playing for them.
She's actually really good coming back through the middle. If we're searching for a wicket, she's got a really good track record of getting out good players through the middle. And then at the death, she has real clarity on what she's trying to do there as well. So with the bat, she gives us an option. She's an outstanding finisher in a number sort of 5 role, but she can also bat longer innings and play longer innings than that number 3 role, and has done that really successfully for South Africa over the last couple of years as well. So we've got flexibility depending on how the rest of the draft goes in terms of her specific role, and she's really happy to do whatever the team needs from those different options.
I've been working with JB for a couple of years with the Oval Invincibles and then the WBLs, and then obviously working with Meg as well. That was a big factor for me moving. I like the way they work. We have a good understanding of how they use me within the game. So that was the main reason for me heading over to the Stars.
Look, gents, thank you for jumping on. This is the first of obviously a number of sessions we'll have around list strategy for going into the overseas player draft on the 1st of September.
You sort of need the depth now with the way people are going to play. And for us to set our team up like that makes complete sense. When I look at our list and I look at what happened last year and we sort of talked about it, one of our challenges is keeping the aggression and the way we play through the middle overs, certainly against spin. I think that's going to be quite a key area, I think, for us. And trying to keep this balance of left-right-handers, which we are a little bit light on, and trying to find a way. And I think that might influence a bit what we target in the draft.
Working out how they can continue to keep the strike rate and the run rate going through those middle overs, taking the ball off the top of the stumps. And it's a tough place to do at the MCG. So it's how do you find those pockets of space to get your 2s and 4s rather than potentially clearing the fence.
It's a back foot game against spin now, isn't it? T20.
Yeah, back foot power. So they've been doing a lot of work on that. So hopefully we'll see some of that come to fruition in the next couple of weeks in Darwin, and then moving into the season.
I don't have anything up that'll show that, but yeah, that's a big good one to start with. And death bowling as well. Death and surge bowling, really, is where there was a bit of a gap towards the rest of the competition on previous seasons, or last season against the rest of the competition.
Yeah, excellent. Because I think the whole thing is like we all got our ideas, and obviously Pete's got his idea the way he wants to go about his career, no doubt about it. And he uses his people he knows to actually get all the numbers and whatever else. But we need to start utilising you guys a lot more too, from purely number based, away from actual cricket thoughts, to actually make sure we're not missing anything. And I think that's something we've sort of lacked in the past. So sorry, just checking that off.
Can we start to package up that list at the moment into its skill sets of spin, etc., so we can start to see it a bit easier, with the numbers against it, and we can start to have a look and start to just. I think a lot of this will come back, as Tim made the point. I think it'll be the quality of the players that are there. I think might have an influence on who we go for, because anybody we do bring in, we're bringing them in to be a match winner and to make a difference. And that to me will be dictated by who's actually in the draft and their availability, because I think we all want to target full availability and to try and get a team that will be settled, and we know that we can. We get to a point where we qualified, we can keep that team together. Having Tom Curran there is great, because he fits two roles. His batting certainly has grown year on year, and he now looks the sort of player we'd like to have coming in the back end of the game. And obviously he gives us some specialist skill at the death. But I think that to me will be important, Patrick, because it'll just make it a bit easier for us to start to actually analyse who's in there, and maybe then go a bit more in depth. If we're picking a batter, what's he like against spin, against seam? I mean, someone like got a message from yesterday from an agent saying, would you be interested? Now, he's our sort of player for me. He's a right-hander though, but he's a brutal striker with a cricket ball.
Thank you, everybody, for jumping on. Obviously, we are about a month away from the draft now, the overseas player draft, and the work that we've been putting into sort of preparing up until this point will be interesting to sort of see where we think our skill gaps might be.
Our boundary percentage, we were second lowest in the power play last season. I think there's Meg didn't have her strongest year last year. I think she only a strike rate was sort of around just over 100 last year. So you'd expect that to improve again as well. So
I think to add that as well, that factoring we lost Flintoff for the whole tournament last year. Obviously she does add power through that middle and boundary hitting as well, and also just looking at where Annabelle is now, even compared to 12 months ago, she looks like she's kicked on to the next level. She looks unbelievable at the moment. So you add those two in alongside sort of the gaps we're going to fill from an underperforming perspective from last year. I think the squad currently looks in a really good place if we get these next two picks right.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely on my list. She's had a great 12 months or so, sort of starting off with, she banged out loads of hundreds in domestic tournaments last year. Her preferred role would be that 5-6 role, but you're right, I think she'd be a bargain unless other teams are picking up on her current form, and that might drive her price a little bit, but I think she'd be a really good pick.